I'm JC. I'm the Director for Trainings and Placements at Indian Academy Group of Institutions. It is my proud privilege to introduce Mrs. Jayashree Nair Mukherjee to you all students. Ma'am, afternoon session we have BCom students, right? So Jayashree Nair Mukherjee is a learning and development professional providing end-to-end training solutions to corporates, schools and colleges of engineering and management. Ma'am is a postgraduate in arts from the University of Madras. Mrs. Jayashree Nair is the Senior Manager for Professional Development with Pearson India. Her professional skills lies in anger management, presentation skills, stress management, time management, teamwork, teaching critical thinking, working with parents, emotional intelligence, e-learning expertise in creating and adapting learning and training content to e-learning module, experienced in delivering training sessions virtually. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
So, before I start, I'm sure all of you have attended the first session that you had on interview skills, right? Correct? So let me begin with one of those standard interview questions that's put to you. Okay? I think Lokeshwari was trying to unmute herself. Lokeshwari, could you unmute yourself? Yeah, just try, Lokeshwari. I would like to speak to one of you.
By the time Lokeshwari gets ready, can Arpita or somebody, get ready? And
anybody else who's ready?
Yeah.
You can type in who's ready to speak. Arpita, what about you? Anybody in the group who can unmute themselves and talk? I just want to hear your voice. Don't worry. No tough question. Anybody?
Okay. Could not unmute. Hariharan, are you there?
I think they've been muted by the admin. No option is there, Lokeshwari says that.
We are not able to unmute. Okay.
No, that's okay. Let him come in his own time then. Let me ask them. Let them chat and give me the answers. Okay? All right. So let me ask any one of you. Let any one of you answer. One of the standard questions that's asked in any interview is, tell me something about yourself. So we can start with, I can see three names right here in front of me. Arpita, Lokeshwari and Beula, right? Three of you. Arpita, tell me something about Arpita. Yes, Arpita. Tell me something about Arpita. Yeah, if any one of you can answer. Beula, tell me something about Beula. I'm taking your own names and asking you that question. Arpita has to answer the question. Tell me something about Arpita. Yes, Hajira, you tell me something about Hajira. I'm Arpita, pursuing final year IADC. Okay. That I know because I think your resume will tell me that. I want to know Arpita. Okay. Hajira Fatima. All right. I know that already, no, Arpita? When you go for an interview, your resume already carries that information, right? But I want to know, Arpita. I'm not looking at just your qualifications. I want to know, Arpita. Yes, Arpita? Uh, okay. Okay, Sharath, can you hear me better now? Am I audible, Sharath? Ah, good. Belua, I like your answer. Okay. Where is it gone? Yeah, let me read it out for everybody. I'm Belua Jennifer from Bangalore. I've done my schooling in SSV and currently pursuing my degree in IADC. I'm good at speaking 3 languages. Wow, that means you're multilingual. And I'm good at dancing and singing. And your hobby is to draw. Amazing. You're an awesome person. All right. Rahul, all right. Rahul is now coming in. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Shubham Dhiman. I am from Kaithal in Haryana. I've completed engineering diploma from Government Polytechnic Narvana. I completed schooling from a state board of Haryana. My hobbies are learning new things, listening to music, playing outdoor games. My strength always carries positive attitude and I'm a self-motivated person. And your weakness, sorry, my weakness is lacking in communication. I'm working daily to improve it. My short-term goal is to get a job in a reputed company so that I can learn new things and apply them practically. Thank you so much, both of you. Let me take these two. Is there somebody else also who's come up with a response? Let me just have a look at it. Okay, all right, all right. So let's take these two students who've answered. Belua, we'll first start with you. Okay. Now remember one thing, when you go for an interview with your resume is already ready, right? You've already worked hard on your resume. You put everything down over there. Your resume is there. So I already know your qualifications, right? I'm not looking at that. So when I ask you, tell me something about yourself or tell me something about Belua, when I ask you that question, you are going to talk about those things which I would like to know more about you. Correct. When you apply for a job, when you go in for a job or any place for that matter, it is not only about professional give and take, right? There is much more of other skills also involved over there, right? So here what you have mentioned, you speak 3 languages. Wonderful. That means you are multilingual. Okay, you are multilingual. That means tomorrow, if I'm the company, if I'm the company HR, if I hire you and I put you into a customer facing job, I can be sure that you can handle 3 language customers from 3 language backgrounds. Correct? You're good at dancing and singing, and your hobby is drawing. That means I understand that you are a creative person. Correct? That is 2 things that I have understood about you. Now, same is the case with Rahul. Rahul, I think you have given me somebody else's resume, whatever. But let's take the information that you have given me. Shubham Diman, okay, the fact that you're from Kaithal, Haryana, that is already mentioned in your resume. Your engineering is mentioned in your resume. Your schooling is mentioned. Your hobbies are listening to music. Okay. Now, this is not an active hobby, right? It's not a hobby. Whenever you talk, that's a pastime. Whenever you talk about a hobby, it has to be something in which you use your time productively. If you say, I sing, then that makes sense. Correct? Listening to music, all right, watching television, these things are not hobbies, right? Playing outdoor games, interesting. So you could have expanded a little more on that. That means you are a person who is a sporty by nature. Normally, people who are interested in sports, and since you talked about outdoor games, unless you're playing golf or something like that, you would be playing in a team. Correct? So you would have team building qualities in you automatically, right? Your strength is that you have a positive attitude, all right, and that you are a self-motivated person. Fine. Now, this is fine that you've written that, but you will have to tell me what makes you, or give me an example where you can prove that you have positive attitude. I can immediately, because these are standard things as written in all resumes, right? These are standard things. So you have to stand out by writing something which is more genuine than something that you have just copied and pasted. Correct. If I tell you that I'm going to put you through this entire interview and then I'm going to refuse to give you the job because there is somebody, because there is the MD's relative who wants a job, would you still have the positive attitude? Correct. These are realities. So you can face these situations, right? And I can see 2 more messages. Okay, that's an example, Rahul tells me. Yeah, I thought as much, right? So you have to be very careful in your resumes, right? Because in the previous session that I did in the morning, I heard a lot of people talking about getting a resume ready and all that, before you go for an interview. So in this session, which is an extension of your interview skills, I'm going to focus completely on one point. And that point is going to be how to get ready for the interview. Okay. Today's topic is how to get ready for the interview. JC, I think some of the students are not able to join the session. There's a message over there. Okay, so let me continue. I'm sure the admin will take care of that. Right. So, yeah. So what all do you need according to
No
you?
worries. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, according to you, what all do you need to be, to be ready for an interview? Come on, let me hear your responses. Yes, let me hear your responses. I mean, type your responses. Sorry. All right. One is confidence. All right. Perform. Just a moment. Just let me go back here. All right. Sharad Kumar says, all right, not Sharad. Harshita says confidence. Marcus Melvin says resume. I should be optimistic and bold. Okay. Carefully examine the job description. Very good, Rahul. Consider why you are interviewing and what you are being interviewed for and your qualifications. Perform research on the company and the role. Consider your answers to common interview questions. Practice your speaking, voice, and body language. Good. Answer the questions what they ask. Positive attitude, self-confidence. Okay, you are right. You need all these traits. Not just for interview. Generally, also in life, you need all these traits. Correct. So let us first and foremost, let us look at. I'm going to split. I put all these things that you have written here, resume writing, confidence, optimism, all this thing, I'm going to put it under 3 headings. Correct? These 3 headings, the first heading is understand and identify your non-negotiables. Let me type it there for all of you. Okay, my first point is identify your non-negotiables. I think all of you have seen it. Has the message reached all of you? Identify your non-negotiables. Has it? Yeah. Now I think it's come to everybody. Yeah, it's come to everybody. Oh, all right. Okay. Just let me do that one more time. Now,
No, ma'am.
still not got to all of you. Yes, I think now it should reach you all. Got it? Yes. I just selected that. Now it's gone to all. Now has it gone? Oh, finally. Okay. All right. So you have to first identify your non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? What do you mean? What do you mean by the word negotiable? What do you mean by the word negotiable? Anyone? Non-negotiable are those things which is really important for you. Something without which you cannot be you. You understand that something that is very important for you. Yeah, negotiation, negotiable means, yeah, open to discussion. So there are some things about you which is not open to discussion. Correct? Let me give you my example. Correct? I am a person who is skilled in my basic core area is communication skills development. Right? I teach or train people to develop their communication skills. Right? So my core area, something I cannot negotiate on at all, is a job environment where I need to do communication. That is very crucial for me. If you put me in a job where I have to sit behind the desk, talk to nobody, just open my computer, look at data, study data, I will not thrive in that job. That job will kill me. Every day morning, I'll wake up and I'll think, oh God, I have to go to do this job again. I have to go to this work again. Evening, I'll come back terribly tired because I did not enjoy what I was doing throughout the day. Correct? So this is typically a situation which is non-negotiable. Now, how do you identify your non-negotiable? You identify your non-negotiable by trying to recall any incident in your life when you felt really good. Think of an incident in your life when you felt really good about yourself. You felt like patting yourself on your shoulder. You did it. Great work. Very good. That kind of a thing. Think of an incident like that. Anybody, just type your responses. I'm sure you've done so many things. Maybe at home, maybe with friends, maybe in college. Anything you did which you really love doing. I mean, you felt so good about it. You felt the time just fly past. Yes, I'm waiting for responses. Okay, very interesting, Belua. The movement when I fed the orphanage children. Okay, so you organize the food, Belua, am I right? Did you organize the food, make a group of people? Did you do all that? Collecting food for everyone? All right, okay. So that time you felt good. So what are the skills that you used here? Can you identify that? What are the skills that you used? Rahul, I'll respond to you, making others happy. Okay. Leadership, I'm okay. Yeah, leadership is there. What are the skills? Leadership is a term. What are the skills that you need to become that leader? I'm talking about the skills that you used. Rahul, as far as your making others happy is concerned, that is something very individual, isn't it? Imagine I am a musician. All right, imagine I'm a musician, a professional musician. I'm going to compose music which makes, I have set a level for myself, a standard for myself. I'm going to compose music that makes me feel that, oh wow, I've composed such fantastic music. It becomes popular, fine. Does not become popular, too sad. Right? So making people happy is again a very, what do I say? It's again depends on what kind of job you've done. Yes, Belua. Okay, Belua, what are the skills that you used? So let me take a guess, Belua. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So you used your skills of organizing. You used your skills of delegation. Correct? You used your skills of identifying the need, planning. Correct? So what you have normally, what are the skills that you have focused on? These are your skills. Correct? So these become your non-negotiable skills. Correct? Because when you implied all these skills, when you tried out all these skills, what happened? You felt very good about yourself. These are your strengths. Now I have come to the second point. First one was, what is it that you are what is this thing about which you will not negotiate? Second thing is this, your strength. So what is your strength is automatically what you will not negotiate. Correct? So this is your strength. So what is your strength? Your strength is the ability to plan, the ability to identify a need, the ability to coordinate with different people. Okay, I'm sure you would have got different kinds of responses when you went around looking for support. You would have met all kinds of people. Some people would have said, hey, why should I support? Some people would have been more than kind. Some people would have supported, but with a lot of stinginess. Correct? You have interacted with so many kinds of people. So what have you done? You have not just planned, you have communicated, you have organized, correct? You have delegated. So you have carried out a complete project, right? So this shows these are the qualities that you have, right? So these are your strengths, and that becomes your non-negotiable qualities, right? That becomes your non-negotiable qualities. Anybody else who has done something that you would like to share? Thanks, Belua. That was a wonderful example. Anybody else? I'm sure you all would have done something or the other, no? In college itself, you get so much of opportunities. Yes, I'm waiting for other people also to respond to me. All right. Wonderful. Yash says executing intercollegiate fests. Very good. So Yash, were you a part of the team, or were you, I mean, you were the one in charge? Ah, very good. Very good, Hajira. You say that when you did a class presentation, I felt I did it very confidently, and you like doing that, correct? Very good. So what are the skills that went into it? Tell me that. Hajira, think and tell me. Okay, Yash, I'll just respond to you, Yash. Hajira, what are the skills? Yash, you also tell me what are the skills that you used. Intercollegiate fest is not at all an easy job. I have done it and I know the headache. My God. Yeah, Hajira, what all skills did you use? Let me take a guess. I'm just trying to save on the time. Okay, you would have researched, correct? You would have researched, then you would have decided how to plan and put that presentation. What should you say in the beginning? What should you say in the middle? How should you conclude it? Correct, Hazra? You would have done all these things, right? And third, you would have practiced. Did you practice, Ajira? Did you practice? Yes, right? You practiced, of course, naturally, right? So these are the skills that you have. So what are the skills that you have? You have the ability, you have your strength, rather. Your strength is you have the ability to research, correct? You have the ability to, whatever you have researched, you are able to put it in a proper flow, right? And you are able to present it, communicate it to an audience, correct? Right? So these are your strengths. Your strength is the ability to research and present the research in a coherent manner, right? Yeah, communicate it to the people, right? Right now, in the example that you have given me, Hazira, there is no team. It is a very individual thing that you have shown. Perfectly fine, nothing wrong with that. Okay, right. Now let me just go back to what Yash had said. Pre-scheduling, planning the work, distributing the same amongst several teams. So Yash, did you go about doing it in a plan? Like, did you have an Excel sheet or a notebook or something that you went about doing that? Yes. So can you just tell us, very briefly, what are the tools that you used? Did you use an Excel sheet? Did you use computers? Did you use social media, WhatsApp, Twitter? Did you use anything like that? Did you form a core team? Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, yeah. Excel sheet to, decide who's been designated with what. Because when you organize an inter-college fest, yeah, Excel sheet, very good, very good. So what are the, now it should be easy, Yash. Tell me, what are the skills that you displayed? This must have been a huge job. What are the skills that you used? Very good. That means you had multiple teams reporting to you. So you would have made a system. Am I correct? You would have made a system in which you have various teams under you, each team in charge of something, and they'll all report to you. Correct? In other words, this is known as delegation. Okay, we call this as delegation. So this is a big project that you took up. It's not a small project. Whenever you go for an interview, don't forget to, tom about this. Okay, yes. So you were a part, or you organized the inter-college fest. So the first thing you did was you made a core team. You decided to make a couple of core teams, rather. One to look into communication, one to look into the logistic support, one to look into the other arrangements that's needed, and one to streamline all the programs that's going to be presented, right? So this is what you have done with them, right? So this is a big thing that you've done. In other words, this is a big project that you took up where you've got multiple stakeholders coming in. There are multiple stakeholders coming in, and you are coordinating all of them to present one big event. Correct? So this is a huge learning exercise for you, and it must have put all your skills to test. So which skills would you like to focus on? Positive. There are negative aspects. We look at negative in another session. Let's focus only on positives in this session. What did you feel at the end? Good boy, Yash. Okay, you managed the logistics very well. Yeah, of course, it could be better. I agree. But I'm sure this was the first time for you. Yeah. Yes. So I think you've got the idea. You all have to go back into your memory, right? You all have to go back to your memory. You have to locate a time when you felt really good about something that you did, all right? And you have to understand what are the skills that you used at that time. Those skills are your strengths. And why are they non-negotiable? If you do not utilize those strengths in a job that you take up, you will get stuck in a job that does not make you happy. And today, I don't have to tell you, happiness is the most important thing. You should be happy doing what you're doing. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, then you are in the wrong place. And all of us face it, especially young people like you who are just about to get into a job. You just want a job somehow. Like in the previous session, I gave the example of my son, right? See, he's done law, correct? He did law from one of the national law schools, right? He did that, and he's a Bangalore-based person itself. He came to Bangalore. Once he came to Bangalore, what happened? He must have been here for barely a week. He got a call, okay, from one of the companies in Manyata Tech Park. You all know, since you're all living in the same area, right? So he was mighty thrilled, fresh graduate out of law school. He had to beg before in front of his mama, please give me some pocket money and all that. And now suddenly he's getting a job, that too in Manyata Tech Park. All right, amazing. The world itself is different. It's such a beautiful place. So it was like a dream come true for him. He grabbed the job. All right, whatever he got through the interview. He was mighty thrilled, got into the job. All right. Initially, it was wonderful. The first paycheck came, fantastic. He doesn't need to take permission from me now to spend money. He can go. Kamnahalli is right there. He can go spend his time, where all, right? So it was fantastic. 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed. By the time it was a 6th month, he was tired. He found the job extremely boring, extremely monotonous. His heart was not in it at all. Correct? But typical parental pressure and all these sort of things played on him, and he somehow pulled himself in that job for a year. Somehow he managed to pull himself in the job for a year. After that 1 year, he said, I'm not going to do law again. 5 years of study, imagine. Okay, he said, I don't want to do law. It put him away so much from that complete concept, because the idea that he had in his mind about the law job was entirely different. Okay, and what was happening over there was entirely different. It was extremely monotonous. He had to scan, documents and documents to check if the legalities have been met. What do they call it? Due diligence, right? He had to check all those things. He found it extremely boring. Very different from the life he had in the law school, where there were moot courts, where there were debates, where there were discussions. And this was entirely different. Correct? Right? Because he had not identified his non-negotiables. He is essentially a researcher, and he is temperamentally a person who communicates only where necessary and to the point. He will not talk too much around the beat around the bush. He did not know his non-negotiables. So when he went into a job which required no research, where the material was just given to him and he had to, like a robo, just scan it, correct? That's sort of, took him away from the job completely. I mean, I was lucky that he did not have a nervous breakdown or anything like that. Okay, but fine, he changed his job. He's not even considering law jobs now. Okay, there may be a time when it will get repaired. He might come back to it. But as of now, no, he's not looking at it at all. So it is extremely important that you need to identify your strength, and that will lead you to your non-negotiable. Because the job that you take is something you must enjoy. If you are a person who is interested, who enjoys organizing things, who enjoys delegating things, you need to look at job opportunities that give you a space to do or test those skills. Correct? Like we had that student who is interested, who did a wonderful presentation. She's a classic example of a person who will do very well. You give her a responsibility, she's going to scan, she's going to research, go into depth, present that entire thing in a good flow, and then present it. She may not necessarily need a team. She may be very comfortable working on her own. Perfectly fine. Everybody needn't be a team player, right? So you need to look for that. So what are the two things that I have spoken about? I told you 3 things, correct? We've already done 2. Which are the 2? One is identify your non-negotiables. Okay? And the second thing that you need to identify is identify your strengths. Correct? Identify your strengths. These are the 2 things. Correct? Now let's come to the third point. All of you are out there. Another year or so, you'll all be there in the job market. You still have time. So what you need to do is, with your current qualification, that is BCom, correct? You have to look for what all jobs you can do. Correct? What all jobs you can do. Which all companies are there which offers you these positions. Right? Simple Google search. You'll get all this information. Once you get this information, you need to get into LinkedIn. Okay? You need to get into LinkedIn. I hope all of you have a profile in LinkedIn. Right? If not, make it. Right? Once you get into LinkedIn, try and contact people from these companies. At least identify 4 or 5, 5 companies to begin with. Identify people from these companies. They could be HR managers. They could be, people who are associates. Identify them. And then what you do is once you identify these people, you try and connect with them. Tell them, identify yourself to them as a student and tell them that I'm looking for somebody for guidance and for mentorship. Okay? Who can guide you and mentor you, right? Once you have identified all this, what you need to do is you need to focus on your strengths, your non-negotiables, and match the following. These are the jobs, these are your strengths. Correct? These are the ways, these are the people, or these are the companies with whom I can connect. Correct? If you do this, what happens is it gives you a good idea. 2 things. It gives you a good idea about the job market. And when you have any kind of a placement company or anybody like that coming to your college, or you go to some other place, okay, for a walk-in interview, you are at least updated on the latest market trends. You are aware of the latest market trends, right? You're conscious about it. You know that these are the latest market trends. Got it? So it's a very simple exercise. You have all the time. You can also, it is not just through LinkedIn, you can also connect on Facebook. Facebook is not only about uploading selfies and, you know, things like that. You can actually have a nice professional network, a mentoring network, a support network on Facebook. Correct? You can connect on this, you can connect on Twitter, follow people who are connected to your field in Twitter. See what are they talking about, the latest economy. Well, we needn't talk much about it. You all know what the situation is. But be connected with people, look at their tweets, try and research on that, try and find out what is happening over there. Okay, all this you need to do. Only then will you be ready for the job market. To be ready for that job market, to be ready for an interview, this is the basic homework that you need to do. Correct? So what are the things that you need to do? One more time. Identify your non-negotiables, identify your strengths, and the last thing that you need to do is align it with the possible job opportunities. Align it with possible, I wouldn't say possible, I will say suitable job opportunities. Correct? Only then will you be in a job. Otherwise, you'll end up getting into a job that you don't enjoy doing. Then there will be breakdown, there will be tension. You know, every day morning, you got to wake up thinking, yes, I'm going to work. You enjoy that job. Correct? And in the evening, when you wind up, you got to come back saying, yes, you must feel energetic. When you do what you love to do, you always feel energetic. You don't feel drained out. You don't feel tired. Right? When you do what you love to do. That is what is the main thing. Right? So these are the three most important things. Right? Now, how do you prepare for it? Right? One, I've told you, do Google search, research and all that. You have to do that. All right, that's a long-term project. Immediately what you need to do is this. You need to work on your presentation. What happens when you walk in for an interview? It's like you have walked onto a stage. You know, that light is zooming onto you. The camera is zooming. What are the camera? The eyes of all the interview panelists. It's all zooming onto you. They're all focusing on you. Correct? They're all looking at you. Right? So you need to deliver the best over there. Correct? Let me tell you a small story. Have you heard about a person called Demosthenes? Have you heard about this person? Demosthenes? I've typed it there. Any guesses? Any guesses who could he be? Any guesses? No guesses? All right, you all must be searching, right? Okay, Demosthenes was a Greek, all right, was a Greek and very well known for his oratorial skills. He was a very good orator. Orator means a person who speaks very well. Now, initially, Demosthenes was not like this. He was a disaster, right? And in the Greek culture, the ancient Greek culture, people who speak very well, you know, who speak very well were respected a lot in the society. So what did Demosthenes do? He went, in order to, you know, improve his spoken skills, he went and dug a tunnel under the earth, shaved off all his hair, correct? Took a shield, polished the shield nicely so that he can see himself reflected over there. And he began to practice speaking. He did this for almost a year. And then when he came out, he was the speaker, Demosthenes. So what do you learn from the story? What you learn from this story? Hard work, very good. Yeah, what else? I'm looking for that word. Yes, practice, absolutely right. Bang on, Hariharan. You are absolutely right, practice. Okay, so I'm going to give you some homework to practice, right? Okay, so one of the things that you need to practice is you need to identify 3 of your non-negotiables. Okay, I'm sure you have many. Okay, right? To begin with, let us start with 3. So identify 3 of your non-negotiables, right? And practice talking about your non-negotiables or your strengths in front of the mirror, right? Stand in front of the mirror and practice that. Now, why did I say stand in front of the mirror and practice? One is, of course, your body language, your eye contact, how well you meet the eye with the other person. That thing will automatically come in. Besides that, what is more important is how you are going to, your voice, how does that sound? Do you stammer? Do you do too much of, are you very shrill? Are you very soft? Where people have to say, what did you say? Something like that, right? So how can you overcome that? One of the best ways to improve your voice is by singing. You don't have to be a professional singer for that. You don't have to be Arijit Singh. Okay, you don't have to be that. You just sing any song of your choice. I'm sure we all are bathroom singers, right? We sing somewhere or the other, correct? Either indoors or outdoors, somewhere or the other. If you sing outdoors, fantastic, right? Nothing like that. But then sing. You've got to sing so that your voice gets thrown out. Your voice becomes more and more clearer, right? Your voice should ideally come not from, not from here. This is your tool, correct? This is your voice box, your tool. Your voice shouldn't be coming from here. Your voice should come from your diaphragm. Only then will your voice have the right amount of emotion in it, correct? Only then will you be able to speak in a clear manner without lisping, without, blundering, without stammering. All this will only happen that time. Correct? You've got to speak from your diaphragm. So in the last session also I'd asked this question. When you enter a room where there are maybe interview panelists or maybe there are other people, how do you identify who is the boss? How do you identify? Imagine you walk into an interview room. There are 3-4 people sitting over there waiting to interview you. How do you identify who is the boss? Anyone? Dressing sense, he won't talk anything. Absolutely right, Rahul. I really like your answer. Generally the quietest person. Yeah. Anything else? He will just observe. He will make other people ask all the questions. He'll just observe you carefully. He'll only observe. He will be sitting in the center. Not necessary. Yeah, okay. All right. Let's take that also. One who absorb everything but won't comment. Yes, he will not comment. All right. So how do you identify him? You identify him, he'll behave as if he's not connected to anything. Yeah. Yes, Simran. Yes. He'll behave as if, kuch chal raha hai, that kind of a thing. Yeah. He'll behave as if he's not connected to anything. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But one of the best ways to identify him is by the way in which he is seated. Okay, he will not be tense, he will not be sitting forward, nor will he be sitting, like this. He will not be sitting like that. But you will see that he's sitting relaxed. And if you notice his breathing, okay, if you notice his breathing, you'll notice that he breathes from his diaphragm. Diaphragm is the portion exactly below the chest. Okay, that is the portion. In fact, one of the best ways is when you talk, okay? When you talk or when you breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe in, that diaphragm should move up. So you can try this out today. You go home, put 3 or 4 books. Okay? Weight, I'm talking about weight. So you can put 3 or 4 books under the chest. When you breathe in, that book should move up. And when you breathe out, the book should go down. Okay, this thing has 2 advantages. One is it clears your voice out, and second thing, if you are tense, if you are nervous about something, it will instantly relax you. It will instantly relax you. So in Roman civilization, they had a saying, okay, they had a saying that expiration is inspiration. All right, let me write that for you. They used to say expiration is inspiration. That means how you let your breath out. Okay, that is what is going to keep you calm and inspire you to do other thing. Here it's not inhalation, it's inspiration, right? So this is one of the activities that you can do at home, all right? Or rather, this is your homework. Next time when we again meet up, I'm going to make at least some of you talk about it to me, right? So what you need to do is this. You need to get yourself some time, right? Lock yourself from everybody else. Stand in front of the mirror. Watch yourself talk. Make sure that your breathing, I have to push my hair back, your breathing is not from your shoulders. People who breathe from their shoulders are excited people. Excited people. You watch all those news reporters on Republic Channel. If you ever watch them, you'll see they all breathe from here. You know, all hyperventilating. Everybody is like that, right? Not from here. You have to breathe from below, the diaphragm, below your chest. The breathing has to happen from there, right? And when you breathe like that, automatically your voice quality will become good. So you need to practice your breathing, especially when you're tense about something. You know, principal's calling you, teacher calling you, HOD calling you. Just do this. What you do is take your thumb like this or hand like this, press it onto your diaphragm and breathe in. When you breathe in, what happens? When you breathe in, the hands should get pushed up. And when you breathe out, the hands should go down. Just try that. It will really help you. Yeah. So coming back to your homework, what you need to do is you need to sing your favorite song. You can change your song every day. All right. Sing your favorite song aloud. Aloud. At least 2 times in a day. Okay. 2 times in a day you need to sing out aloud. And second thing, stand in front of the mirror and talk about your 3 strengths, your 3 non-negotiables. Correct? Stand in front of the mirror and talk about it. Meet your eye. Look into your eye and talk to it. Say it, repeat it again and again and again. It is that constant repetition which will make you more and more convinced about what you're saying. Then what happens is, when you go for an interview, you can easily tackle tough questions. Because you are very clear about your strengths, you can even turn the interview in such a manner that they too will focus more on your strengths and not on your weaknesses. Correct? We are not looking at weaknesses. Weakness also we look at. All right, I'm not saying that all of us are only born with strength. We have weaknesses, but we look at that in another session, right? So this is the aim. Now let's take a tricky question that everybody asks, okay, in a job interview. How do you handle criticism? Oh, sorry, I missed the question mark. Yeah. How do you handle criticism? Give me a response to that. And lot of criticism will be there. As freshers, there will be a lot of criticism. You will be pulled up for small things. That will happen. Take it for granted. Simran, ignore? No, Simran, you cannot ignore, no? In a work area, when the interviewer asks you this question, you have to give a response. Oh, your response is ignore the criticism? No. Criticism can also be for good, isn't it? Overcome with your best way? No. Explain that a little more. I didn't comprehend that, Harshita. By being calm and try to handle, smile and leave, ignore and work on it. I like Deepa's response. Have a positive attitude towards it. So how will you respond? Give me an answer to that question. My question is simple. How do you handle criticism? So you, Deepa, for example, Deepa, you say that have a positive attitude towards it. What will you say? Can you explain that? The interviewer will automatically ask you. Can you explain that? What do you mean by saying a positive attitude? Can you give us an example of how you will take a criticism positively? Make plans to act on constructive criticism. You cannot choose the criticism, no. The criticism is coming to you from somebody else. Okay, Shambhavi says, try not to take it personally. But why do you feel, Shambhavi, that the criticism has to be negative? People who are new on the job, they have to learn. Let me give you my own example. I come from a generation where, all this Zoom and this Facebook and all these apps and all that you use, it's like science fiction for me. How did I learn it? I learned it because I kept interacting with you all. I made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. And I was criticized I was criticized for it. I was criticized very painfully for it. But fine, but today I have learned all this. Yeah, it is never personally. What you said is correct, Shambhavi. It is not personal. In other words, first thing is be objective. In other words, look at what is being criticized. Look at what is being criticized. Not who is criticizing you. Correct? Look at what is being criticized. So then how will you respond? How will you respond? Yes, you should never get defensive. You should never get defensive. The moment you get defensive means you're a person who's close to learning or adapting to new things. Correct? Give me a response. I'm interviewing you all and I ask you, how do you react to criticism? How do you respond to criticism? Give me an answer. I will. I want an I answer. Come on. Marcus, can you give me an answer? Marcus, considering what you have said, I would say something like this. If somebody criticizes me, I will say, thank you for pointing this out to me. I have made a note of it. However, it would be very great if you could suggest something to improve this point. Correct? Yeah. If there are any mistakes, you can patiently learn it and correct it in the future. So the first thing is this: listen to the criticism. Accept the criticism. First thing is that. Accept the criticism. See how you can improve on it. See how you can change it. All right? And based on that, seeing how you can change it, you can go ahead and try and ask them also to support you in it. After all, you're a fresher. Correct. You're a fresh person in the company. Yeah. Don't react. I don't like that word react. I would say be proactive. That is the word. Reaction is, what criticism? You think I've done that? No, I have not done that. That is how I was taught to do. She told me how to do it. The manager told me how to do it. That is reaction. Correct? Proactive is when you look at the solution and then react to something. Got it? Yes, you have to be proactive. Right? Yeah. So your response ideally would be accept the criticism. Okay. Say that, I have made a note of this observation that you have made. All right. See, examine and see if you can do something to correct it. And if you cannot do something to correct it, ask for help. Nothing shameful in asking for help. Nothing shameful. When I came to Bangalore, I used to use my laptop like a typewriter. Okay. So when I joined a particular company, I had all young people like you all around me, all around me. They were all fresh engineering graduates, fresh MBA graduates who had just got into the company, freshers on the job. You won't believe I used to shamelessly ask them. I didn't know even how to use the keys, yeah. I didn't know how to use the escape key. I didn't know how to use the print screen key. I didn't know any of these things. I used to ask them. I used to tell them, please help me. I don't know how to do it. I didn't know what a PPT is. It is these students like you who taught me how to do it. So what's wrong in asking for help? Always ask for help. Nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you smaller or weaker in any manner. Correct? Don't know something, ask for help. Nothing wrong with that. Correct? So this is one of the sample things that I have told you. And if you, now this particular question, coming back to the question, how do you handle criticism? Okay. You will be able to automatically give a very good answer to it, provided you are very clear about your non-negotiables and your strengths. Knowing your strengths and non-negotiables gives you a lot of self-confidence. That self-confidence will automatically make you a more positive person. Correct? It is all in you. All of you have to awaken that Demosthenes in you. You have to awaken that person. Call that spirit. Come Demosthenes, come inside me. Call that spirit into you, and you have to do that practice every day without fail. Just do it and see. I can guarantee you in 1 month, you will see a difference in the way you speak to others. You will see a difference in the way you communicate to others. I guarantee you that. Right? Got it? Yeah. So I think we are slowly coming to the end of the session. Do you have any questions before I recap the entire thing? Do you have any questions? No questions? So shall I recap? All right. So what are the things that we've learned today? Let me see it in the chat. What are the 3 things that I've told you in preparation for the interview? Yes, let me see the responses. Yes, identify your non-negotiables. Then, yes, good, very good. Hemlata, good. Umma Kulsum, good. Identify your strength, good. First, non-negotiable. Second, strength. Then, third, align it with suitable job opportunities. Excellent. So these are the 3 mantras that you need to follow before you apply for any job. Any job. You must research. Your research must be so strong that when you are ready to go for an interview, when you know that so and so and so company is coming for placement, for campus placement, or you're going to go in for a walk-in interview to a particular company, you must have all the basics about that company on your fingertips. Correct? And what is the homework that I have given you? What is the homework? Sing your favorite song 2 times in a day. Yes. Then second one, identify three. Today it's all about 3. Okay. Identify 3 non-negotiables and talk about it. How will you talk about it? You have to give instances. Some of you have shared instances with me. You're going to talk about that. And yes, practice breathing from your diaphragm, not from your shoulders, not from here, not from here, not from here, from your diaphragm. Okay? It is here, this is a portion, not from this portion at all. If you notice people who talk in a high-pitched voice, no? When they talk in a high-pitched voice, they always breathe from this portion, right? Yes, you have to stand in front of a mirror. Watch yourself stand and talk. See how tall you stand, how well you stand. And don't think it's all about personality. Don't talk about, good looks and height and weight and all that. Doesn't matter at all. Look at all the big orators. I'm taking examples of dictators. Look at people like Stalin, look at people like Hitler, look at people like Napoleon. They were all short, diminutive, tiny people. They didn't have height. They didn't have a personality. But nation listened to them. Correct? Entire nation was willing to march and lay their lives down for them. Why go so far? Our own Gandhiji tomorrow. What personality did he have? Short, dark, thin man. Right? It's not about that at all. So don't get misled or carried away by all those sort of things. Right? What happens is how much confidence you have in talking, how well you conduct yourself, how well you stand in front of people and talk. Remember, interview is a transaction. If you give the standard things, standard things that, I'm hardworking, I'm meticulous, I'm punctual. If you give the usual things, the interviewer is not interested. These are adjectives he has read many times before. He or she or the HR person has read those adjectives a number of times. You have to give evidences, like the examples that some of them have shared with me. You know, one girl goes around organizing food to be given in an orphanage. Another person organizes an inter-college fest. Wow. So much of organizational skills, right? These are all powerful examples, right? So you have to give an example. So when you say that, don't start by saying my non-negotiable. You will have to say, let me take an example. Okay, Arpita's name is right there in front of me. I am Arpita. My strength is this, that I'm excellent in research. If you give me a topic to research, I will research on it and make a fantastic presentation out of it. I'm very good with that. Fine. Like this, you have to pick up 3 things. Correct? So Arpita just did not say that she's good with research. She gave an example to support that. Got it? So that is what I mean by saying that you need to practice this. So it's a long exercise. You will have to write down, you will have to practice, and as you speak, you will realize that you don't need to use long sentences. You can use shorter sentences. And yes, practice breathing is extremely crucial. Okay, practicing breathing is extremely crucial, because that is what is going to give you a clear and an open voice. A voice that is not muffled and all. And yes, you must learn to modulate your voice. Don't talk like Doordarshan newsreaders. You remember Doordarshan newsreaders? They used to talk in a flat tone. Today, 50 people died in an accident. The president awarded 10 gold medals to students. Everything has the same tone. 50 people died in an accident, 10 gold medals, everything same tone. And the person's face is also like that, 50 gold medals. Correct? 50 people died in an accident. That is the same expression. Don't do that, please. Okay? Be expressive, have expressions on your face. Only then will you create that punch and that impact in your interview. Right? Okay? I hope these points are very clear to you. Easy points to remember, no? 3, 3, 3. Correct? Yes, Hajira. It was your example, correct? Of the presentation. Any questions you have? Thank you, Deepa. I'm glad it's helpful to you all. Thank you, Yash. Thank you, Hemlata. I hope this COVID thing gets over and, we can all meet each other face to face. Yusuf